putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
I'd like to thank the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, because we all know that the press is under siege these days. But we also know that it is the insatiable dedication to uncovering the absolute truth that keeps us from turning a blind eye to corruption and to injustice. To tyrants and victims and secrets and lies. I want to say that I value the press more than ever before as we try to navigate these complicated times.
Welcome back, everybody. That was Oprah Winfrey taking a dig at Donald Trump. That's exactly what that was. You know what you can recognize that. This is the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com if you want to call us, 844-551-8255. A dig at Trump. I never have I been more impressed with the press. The press is this, that, and the other. I mean, think about how pandering that was. What a pander. And of course, nobody. What's funny, as you listen to that closely, they're not that big of a clap for her when she talks about the press. Can we get that clip and just wait till she says it and play the clip again? In fact, do me a favor, enhance it, because I want them to hear that the people aren't like, yay. You hear big claps when she says certain things, but when she was talking about the press, people were kind of like, whatever.
I'd like to thank the Hollywood Foreign Press Association,
Here?
because we all know
Nothing.
that the press is under siege these days.
Nothing.
I want to say that I value the press more than ever before.
Listen.
As we try to navigate these complicated times.
See? The only time they clapped is when she talked about the corruption and things like that. So they get it. These audiences get it. And you have to read between the lines with them. Now, don't make the mistake of thinking that they're sane. They're not. They are indoctrinated. They suffer from Stockholm Syndrome. All you got to do is sit down with any one of these clowns, and you'll go, wow. Because people ask me all the time, Kevin, do they believe this stuff? Oh, they believe it. They absolutely believe it. And I would love to tell you that, we're getting through in a big way to the elites. You're not. But I will give you the good news here. It filters down. When you get outside of these bubbles, this DC bubble, the Hollywood bubble, the regular world, they go, y'all ain't selling me on it. What? Shoot. Don't, you better not believe. But the problem is we aren't marketing to them in a way that it reaches them. Hollywood doesn't have nearly the impact that it used to have on the people below them. DC, the elites, don't have nearly the impact. And it's because of exactly what Oprah was talking about. Donald Trump has pretty much minimized them because he's his own press. There was a call to have Donald Trump kicked off of Twitter. Maybe we'll get into it. And Twitter, the CEO, Jack Dorsey, said, no, he's got freedom of speech, and he's also, he said two things. One, the relevancy of what he talks about, and two, the transparency that we get by having a direct pipeline to the president. It was amazing. So Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, recognized that this is the best in democracy we have, where we get unfiltered president, unfiltered Donald Trump. And we'll get into that too, because he was in trouble based on the tweet that he made to North Korea, which I find funny. The people would actually make a big deal about it. But I want to move on because we're running out of time. The last Oprah clip is the one that I find not most interesting, because I think the first one was most interesting, that all these men that helped her build her career. But this will tie it in as a bookend for you to see what she's now describing as the brave women of Hollywood. So let's play that clip.
What I know for sure is that speaking your truth is the most powerful tool we all have. And I'm especially proud and inspired by all the women who have felt strong enough and empowered enough to speak up and share their personal stories. Each of us in this room are celebrated because of the stories that we tell. And this year, we became the story. But it's not just a story affecting the entertainment industry. It's one that transcends any culture, geography, race, religion, politics, or workplace. So I want tonight to express gratitude to all the women who have endured years of abuse and assault because they, like my mother, had children to feed and bills to pay and dreams to pursue.
In all seriousness, these speeches are a little more than more acting, right? I mean, I listen to them, I'm like, that's just Oprah. Their speeches, they had children to feed, they had things to do, and it's just, oh my gosh, and you can just feel the emotion. They're acting these things out. They don't believe it. This is all acting. These are people that spend their lives pretending to be other people, and they haven't figured out who in the heck they are. It's kind of sad. But let's look at what Oprah says. I want to thank all these women for coming out and speaking your truth. Oh, so 2017 was a year that women came out and spoke their truth, and we're learning about it in 2018. But we were what? Hearing the lies in 2000, in say 2010 or in 2000, in 1990s. We're talking about things that go back decades. And the women of today are, oh, you're so brave that you're coming out 35 years later to accuse somebody of something. Look, I don't know whether you did or you didn't, whether things happened or they didn't. But I'll tell you this, what I've learned in my life is if something happens to me, I'm going to go confront it right away. What I've taught to everybody that around me, sisters, children, you name it, is you confront. You don't wait. You don't let it fester. You don't let people think that they're going to hold something over your head. You confront it. That's the way you solve problems. And the problem with the left is think about it. It's such, I mean, the elixir of the power and the fortune, the fame and fortune that you get when you get a Hollywood career is amazing. I was thinking about this the other day. You could be, I'll use Alan West as an example. Alan's a buddy of mine, and we've gone to events, and Alan is, he gets a lot of attention. People come, oh, there's Alan West. Ooh, there's Alan West. And I remember 5 years ago when people sent me a clip of Alan, and I was like, I don't know who he is. And if we want to measure, he surpassed me in terms of notoriety. I don't care. Congratulations to Alan. Because we went to CPAC one year. We're both walking through the place, and everybody's like, Alan West, Alan West, Alan West. And I'll never forget one girl going, oh, Kevin Jackson. No. It's like, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, hello. But the point is, he gets notoriety. But let Denzel Washington walk through that building, and he transcends politics. He's huge. He's well known. So I don't know whether you want that or you don't want that. Do you want to be known in just your circles, or do you want to be known nationally? Me personally, I don't want to be known. If I had my druthers, you wouldn't know who I was. I would be the dude behind the scenes. But I can tell you there are people who crave that. They want that. And they're willing to do it at all cost. And at the time when they do it, they see it as it's the cost. It's the price of fame. It's the entry fee to get to where I want to go. And so that's what Hollywood became. It became the cesspool of, you've got to do these things I ask you to do. And quite honestly, it became ridiculous. There was a post, I can't find it, but it's out there. You can find this information anywhere. And there was called riders on people's contracts. And you should look at the riders that these stars would put in their contracts. It was to the point of ridiculousness where that the stars were saying at some point, I want to see just how far I can take this contract. So they might say, I want M&Ms in the limo, but I only want green ones. And so somebody had to take a bunch of M&Ms, pick out all the green ones and put them in a jar, say, here you go. Another person says, I only want the scent of lavender. And, it's got to be in every room or something like that. Other people say, and I remember, I'm just going from memory here, but one of them I remember was, I think it was Streisand, that said, nobody can look at me. You will look down as I walk by, like royalty. It reminds me of those old, back in King Henry VIII, where, the king would walk by and everybody had to drop their heads. You couldn't look at the king. They had things like that. I mean, crazy stuff. Writers and contracts. And I think that the stars now just believe, you know what? I can put anything in there and these people will give me what I want. And that's where we are today. A bunch of pretentious people that don't have any connection with reality. They say things that sound good. They get up there and give their speeches, which are little more than other performances. And they want the world to take notice.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.